Today we're going to be working on computing average speed. We're going to be working over two lessons today. The first one's we're going to compute average speed. Speed is measured in miles per hour, and to find the average rate of speed on a trip, you're going to divide the distance by time. I'm sure in science you've worked with the distance formula. Distance equals rate times time, and rate is referring to the speed. Distance equals rate times time. So if I'm wanting to know the rate, that is basically then distance divided by time. So let's look at an example. Carlotta drives 360 miles in 8 hours and 36 minutes. What is her average rate of speed? Now the first thing we need to do though is to convert the minutes to a decimal part of an hour, because it's really hard for us to figure the time part dealing with hours and minutes. So we're going to turn it into a decimal number. So take 36 divided by 60, and we're going to write it as a decimal, which is 6/10 of an hour. So we have 8.6 hours. So we're going to take the distance divided by the time, which our distance was 360 miles, divided by 8.6, and you come up with 41.9, approximately 42 miles per hour. So Carlotta's average rate of speed is 42 miles per hour. Okay, so let's review a little bit. The first thing you need to do though is to get your time in a decimal form, and in order to do so you're going to take your minutes divided by 60, and then that will give you the portion of an hour that the minutes represents. Okay, let's try an example. Find the average rate of speed for this trip that we went 180 miles in 4 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, the first step that we need to do is we need to convert our minutes into a decimal part of hours and then minutes. In order to do so, we're going to take 30 divided by 60, and we get 5/10. So our total time would be 4.5 or 4.5 hours. To find out then the average rate of speed, remember it's distance divided by time. Our distance is 180 miles divided by 4 and 5/10. Okay, try that with me please. 180 divided by 4.5 or 4 and 5/10, and you get 40. So 40 represents then our average, our rate of speed, or 40 miles per hour. And this is example 1. Any questions? Okay, we're going to start the second part of our lesson. This is lesson 12, computing the travel time. To find the time it took, or it should take for a trip, we're going to divide the distance by the speed. Again, it kind of goes with the distance equals rate times time. This time we're wanting to find out what the time is. So in order to do that, we're going to take distance divided by your speed, or the rate. Your example, Chong plans a 418-mile trip to Virginia. Because he and his family will travel on the interstate highways for most of the trip, they hope to average about 50 miles per hour. How long should they expect the trip to take? So we're going to take our distance divided by our rate to get the approximate time. So we have a total of 418 miles divided by 50, and we get 8.36 hours. Now we know that's going to be 8 hours, but how do we represent the 36 hundredths of an hour? Well, let's do the opposite of what, or the inverse of what we did yesterday. To find that decimal part, we divided by 60, and today we're going to use the inverse and multiply by 60. So if I have 0.36 of an hour, 60 minutes are in that hour, I will have to multiply, and we get approximately 22 minutes. And you just want to go round it to the nearest minute. So it will take us approximately 8 hours and 22 minutes. Alright, so let's try an example together. We're going to try to find the travel time for this trip, and we're going 180 miles, and we're going to travel a speed of approximately 50 miles per hour. And we want to round our solution to the nearest minute. Remember, we're going to take distance divided by our rate, so we're going to have 180 miles divided by 50 miles per hour. Okay, let's try that, and we come up with 3.6. So we know it's going to take 3 hours and 6/10 of an hour in order to travel our trip. We need to convert this 6/10 to minutes, so let's take it times 60. 6/10 times 60 gives you 36. So we're actually going to go 3 hours and 36 minutes is what our trip should take. 3 hours, 36 minutes. So just remember that when we're finding the amount of travel time, you're taking your distance divided by the rate, and then once you get your decimal number, you do need to convert that decimal part of an hour back into minutes by multiplying that decimal by 60. And that concludes our lesson today. And your assignment will be to do in your textbook, pages 116 and 117, all of the exercises. That's lessons 11 and 12.